So just, I mean, taking what you said, how you're like, my whole house is covered in toys. I think for people who just feel like literally these toys have taken over my entire house, starting there and designating a like true like base, like home base for your toys. So one thing that has really worked for me is I didn't set up my kids' rooms to also be play areas. Like I don't have a bunch of toy storage in there. I mean, of course they bring toys in there. But like my son, his room's pretty bare. Like there's nothing in there to where it forces him to play in the playroom. Ours is like an open play loft. And so that has made a really big difference because then it's like when you find stuff all around, you know the one place it's supposed to live. And so for people who are like, yeah, but you know, my living room's downstairs or another side of the house and my kids are always there while I'm doing kitchen, then it's that one main area is still your home base, but maybe you have two baskets or maybe you have one basket or maybe you have a console or built-in storage to where it's like, hey, these are the toys and those can be switched out with anything. Like then it's like, okay, you have friends coming over, you have shit on your floor, you can put it in that drawer and close it and you know like, okay. So much with young kids is you need it out of your face. You just need to not see it. And, you know, obviously up, you know, the 1-year-old phase going into the 2-year-old phase, like they're not like, how can I help maintain systems for you, mom? They're just like, and like what they play with doesn't make sense either. Like my kids will have a hairbrush and a hula hoop and a toy truck and like that all makes sense to them. And I'm like, sure. Whereas they get older, you know, you can really start to micro organize. Like this is where our puzzles are. This is where our paint is. This is where this is. When they're so young, and your son's three, you know, he's really getting to the point now where he can start to understand how to find his things and where to put them back, whether it's, you know, things labeled with pictures or just the routine of finding them and putting them back with him. And this is not for like me to be on some soapbox, like my kids are like playing with a toy and then being like right back to their home. No, our house is a dumpster fire when they're playing. It's insane. It's truly, I'm like, you guys are animals. I don't even know how any of this happens. Like something will be perfect. And then literally I'm like, we have this like closet right off of the playroom, which like things are in bins and labeled and like so great. But my 4-year-old just takes all the baskets down and like she just dumps them all down to where I'm like, okay, that has nothing to do with organization or like wrong systems. Like you're just being an a-hole and I don't know. Like that isn't like they're not even related. So I'm trying to get better at having them pick up the activity that they were doing before doing another one. And obviously having them home for winter break, it's like there's 80 things happening at once. But everything is going to take time. I know one of the questions was, you know, is it a quick process or is it something that takes time, you know, being organized? And I'm still learning ways to be more organized and to have better systems in this house. And I will say that I really have figured out like my children's rooms, like that as far as like their clothes put away and like our systems there. Like I'm very, very, very good about when things don't fit and putting them in a, like, especially for people who know they're going to have more kids, having a too small bin and a too big bin. So if I get something that's not going to fit my son yet, that's in the too big bin. Like, you know, I was given all these clothes that were 4Ts when he was born. So they lived in there. And then as he was growing in size, then I could go and look for bigger clothes in there that he was ready to wear. And then the too small bin. And then I just know like, okay, we're done with kids. Those go to my sister-in-law who's about to have boys. So like having just little systems like that for you, but also like different ways to get the kids involved. Like the more accessible their things are, like I feel like bigger messes are made when I try to put things up out of the way. Like then they're just like putting chairs on top of stools on top of something and trying to grab it. And it's honestly just dangerous at that point. So ways for them to be able to see what they're looking for and grab it. And of course, keeping things way out of the way where they can't even try to get it. Things like paint or pens or that they can just go nuts and paint your house with. But I've really gotten my kids into purging. Like, not that they're like, Mom, we want to purge today, but just them understanding what that means. It's usually my 6-year-old saying this can go, and it's my other daughter. She's like, no. But they are starting to understand so much more of it makes room for new toys, sure, but also like these can go to someone else.